It's a corrupt organization. No, it's Carlos is a fellow in town who just loves music, and he had a little record label trying to get it moving, and he changed it to Safety Meeting, got a little more serious about it. He changed the name. And once he did that, he started looking around and seeing these bands in town who they weren't like-minded bands so much, but they were all sort of underground rock and roll bands, and he liked that and started putting out their records, and he's done a great job. So I already knew Carlos a little bit, and a lot of us did, because he's done a lot of music work in town. And so when he got the label going, he had some good ideas, and he got some good bands, and a lot of the bands are friends with each other in town and have known each other for a while, and we all sort of like and respect each other's music. So it's gone pretty good for him. You know, right now it's a local sort of New England based label, but he's spreading out, and I think, you know, the more he invests his time and effort into it, the more, you know, the rewards will be in the future. It did, but I had a band called the Butterflies of Love, and we already had a label in England, and we seemed to be, you know, we'd play New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, but mostly just East Coast kind of shows, but then go over to London. But the London label was for the Butterflies, and when I started up the Mountain Movers, I was looking to get some friends together to play, you know, a bunch of songs that I had written, and Carlos was sort of mutual friends with the people I was playing with, and he was starting the label, and he liked the band, and I was just grateful he's putting out my records, because now it gives me, you know, ambition to keep making them. Right, well, I've only really had one other record label, and it was a London-based record label, and they did great things for us, you know. They got us a lot of great shows, got us in a lot of magazines in England, and gave us a lot of great press. And here, I think the difference is that we were, you know, we're familiar with the territory. It's New Haven, it's my home, and it's you know, different than being in London, where you kind of need someone to be the conduit to all the activities you want to do, all the shows, all the, you know, press, all the sort of you know, spelling out of the band's name and future. And here it's a little more you know, we all knew each other already, and so it's a bunch of bands that are kind of playing. There's Carlos, and and I guess the only difference is that, you know, we can communicate so much quicker. In London, it was, you know, emails and very little FaceTime, and here I can just, you know, go down into the neighborhood and see Carlos, and we can talk about things. Okay, well, it's changed, New Haven. I mean, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts. So I had a sort of different, I would go down to Providence a lot and see shows down there. But when I came to New Haven about '92, and back then the bands were a lot more competitive with each other. It was more, it's just the way music was. You had a band, your band was basically a gang, and you walked around saying you were the best band and everyone else was horrible, you know? And as time went on, New Haven, it just started changing. I don't know whether the music scene became smaller or more amiable, but somehow we all began to know each other and not be so sort of competitive, and to try to help each other out. You know, so I think that's changed in New Haven itself. In London, there's a lot of bands there's a lot of different types of bands, as you get, of course, with any city. But the sort of scene that I fell into was a little more poppy oriented, you know.